Be honest, how many times have you bought coffee at Costa? Once? Twice? Maybe every morning on your way to work? If that sounds like you, stop. Don't drink another cup until you've watched this, because what looks like a harmless caffeine habit is quietly draining your wallet and wrecking your health in ways you probably haven't noticed. That medium latte you buy without thinking, it's 30% more expensive than it was 3 years ago, and it's got more sugar than a can of Coke. Costa has become the perfect trap. Overpriced drinks, addictive sugar, and clever marketing that makes you feel like you're treating yourself while they're treating you like a walking ATM. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why people are saying, "I wish I'd known this before my last Costa run." Number 10. Prices have increased 30% since 2021. A medium latte at Costa cost £2.75 in 2021. By early 2024, that same latte costs £3.60. That's an 85 pence increase, a 30% price jump in just 3 years. But your wages didn't go up 30%, did they? Your pension certainly didn't increase by that much. The state pension went up by around 10% over that same period. So what you're really experiencing is a massive cut in your purchasing power. That coffee you used to afford comfortably is now a luxury item you have to think twice about. Costa blames inflation and rising costs. They say they've faced significant inflationary pressure over the past 18 months, citing increased costs for coffee beans, energy, wages, and rent. Fair enough, costs have gone up for everyone, but here's what they're not telling you. Their price increases far exceed the actual cost increases they're facing. The wholesale price of coffee beans did rise, but not by 30%. According to commodity market data, Arabica coffee prices increased by roughly 15 to 20% during that period. Energy costs went up significantly, but even with the energy crisis, businesses saw increases of around 20 to 25%. Wages increased by around 5 to 8% annually. None of these factors, even combined, justify a 30% price increase to customers. What Costa's doing is using inflation as an excuse to pad their profit margins while customers struggle. They're betting that you won't notice the exact numbers or won't have the time to calculate what's actually happening. And it's working, because most people don't track prices carefully over time. You notice that your coffee seems more expensive, but you don't realize it's jumped from $2.75 to $3.60. You just pay it because you want your caffeine fix, and Costa is convenient. You're standing in line, you're tired, you need coffee, and questioning the price feels awkward when there are people behind you waiting. For seniors on fixed incomes, this is particularly painful. If you're buying a Costa coffee 5 days a week, that's £18 per week, £72 per month, over £860 per year just on coffee. Not food, not pastries, not anything else, just the coffee. 3 years ago, that same habit cost you under £700 annually at the old pricing. Costa has added over £150 to your annual coffee bill without improving the product at all. Same coffee, same cup, same service, just 50% more money coming out of your pocket. And it's not just lattes. Every single item on Costa's menu has seen similar or even higher increases. A flat white went from $2.65 to $3.45. A cappuccino jumped from $2.75 to $3.55. Even a basic Americano increased from $2.40 to $3.15. Across the board, they're charging you significantly more for the exact same drinks. Number 9. Costa's dirty machines and bacterial buildup. They don't want you to know about. You probably think a coffee chain as massive as Costa keeps everything spotless, right? Gleaming machines, sanitized milk jugs, shiny counters. But behind the counter, the reality is far less appetizing. Across the UK, multiple customers, and even former baristas, have spoken out about filthy coffee machines, moldy milk frothers, and unclean steam ones that haven't been properly washed in days. These are the same machines your latte comes from. A 2023 BBC Watchdog investigation revealed that the inside of commercial coffee machines can be breeding grounds for bacteria, mold, and yeast, especially if staff skip deep cleaning cycles. Those shiny espresso machines you see, they're warm, moist, and full of milk residue, the perfect environment for microbial growth. Several ex-employees have admitted online that during a rush hours, they often rinse and go. The steam wand gets wiped, but not sterilized. The internal milk tubes? Rarely flushed properly. The hoppers that hold ground coffee can collect old, rancid coffee oils that spoil the taste and harbor bacteria. And because Costa serves thousands of drinks daily, those machines run almost non-stop. Without strict cleaning routines, milk dries inside pipes, forming clumps that bacteria feed on. Some of those bacteria, like Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Listeria monocytogenes, are known to cause serious infections in people with weakened immune systems. Costa's official policy says machines must be cleaned daily, with deep cleans every 48 hours. But insiders say that's ideal world policy, not real-world practice. When understaffed teams are serving 200 customers an hour, hygiene corners get cut. And since the contamination is invisible, you'd never know. Independent cafe owners have posted videos comparing machine cleanliness after a single day of heavy use, and it's horrifying. Brown sludge inside milk tubes, coffee residue glued to portafilters, black mold under drip trays. Now imagine that inside a chain that serves millions of drinks per week. You're not just paying more for your coffee. You could literally be drinking from a bacteria incubator. Number 8. The sugar content is destroying your health. A medium Costa caramel latte contains 59 grams of sugar. Let that number sink in for a second. 59 grams. That's 14 teaspoons of sugar in one drink. For comparison, a standard 330 ml can of Coca-Cola contains 35 grams of sugar. You're drinking nearly double the sugar of a Coke and telling yourself it's just coffee. The NHS recommends that adults consume no more than 30 grams of free sugars per day. That's added sugars, not natural sugars from fruit. One Costa caramel latte puts you at nearly double that limit before you've even had breakfast. Before you've eaten a single piece of food, you've already blown past your daily sugar allowance. But it's not just the caramel latte. A medium vanilla latte has 42 grams of sugar. A chai latte has 47 grams. Even drinks that don't sound particularly sweet, like a gingerbread latte, contain 50 grams of sugar. The only way to avoid this sugar bomb is to order completely plain coffee with no flavorings, which most people don't do because that's not what they're craving when they walk into Costa. For seniors, this is catastrophic for your health. High sugar intake accelerates aging at the cellular level through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins and damage them. It damages blood vessels, making them less flexible and more prone to blockages. Every single one of those sugary drinks is actively harming your health. Not might be harming, is harming. The science on this is settled and clear, and Costa knows this. Number 7. The calorie count in flavored drinks is outrageous. That same medium caramel latte doesn't just have 59 grams of sugar, it also contains 450 calories. That's nearly a quarter of your recommended daily calorie intake in one drink. One drink that you probably consume in 10 or 15 minutes without thinking about it. A toffee nut latte, 558 calories. That's more than a Big Mac from McDonald's. A chocolate fudge brownie frap, 517 calories, and that's before you add whipped cream, which pushes it over 600. You're drinking what amounts to a full meal, except it provides virtually zero nutrition. No protein worth mentioning, no fiber, no vitamins, no minerals, just empty calories from sugar and fat. For seniors trying to maintain a healthy weight, this is a complete disaster. Your metabolism has slowed down significantly with age. Studies show that metabolic rate decreases by roughly 2% per decade after age 30, and the decline accelerates after 60. You need fewer calories now than you did in your 30s or 40s, perhaps 20 to 30% fewer, depending on your activity level and muscle mass. But you're drinking the same high-calorie beverages without adjusting for your changing body. You're consuming calories your body doesn't need and can't efficiently process. And those extra calories don't just disappear. They get stored as fat. Those extra calories add up frighteningly fast. And the weight you gain as a senior is significantly harder to lose. Your muscle mass is decreasing naturally with age, a process called sarcopenia. Less muscle means slower metabolism because muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat tissue does. You're probably less active than you used to be, either because of joint pain, reduced stamina, health conditions, or just lifestyle changes that come with retirement. So those calories stick around as fat, particularly around your midsection, which is the most dangerous place to carry weight because visceral fat around your organs increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and certain cancers. If you are still here, you are the kind of person who counts every pound. Do me one quick favor before we hit the next reveal. Tap subscribe and drop a comment with how much you spend at Costa each week. It tells YouTube that this matters, and it helps you see the rest of the series on saving money without giving up your life. Number 6. Costa posted a £9.6 million loss. In 2023, Costa Coffee posted a £9.6 million loss despite being owned by Coca-Cola, one of the world's largest and most profitable beverage companies. Think about what that means. A global coffee chain backed by a corporate giant somehow managed to lose nearly £10 million in a single year. Why does this matter to you as a customer? Because a company losing that much money makes decisions based on short-term survival and profit rather than long-term quality and customer satisfaction. When a business is hemorrhaging money, the accountants take over from the product people. Every decision gets filtered through the lens of how do we stop the bleeding, not how do we make the best product. They're cutting costs wherever possible. That means cheaper coffee beans, smaller portions, less staff training or training that's rushed and inadequate, faster service that prioritizes getting you through the door quickly rather than making your drink correctly, the equipment that doesn't get maintained as well. Corners get cut in ways you don't see, definitely experience in the quality of what you're served. Costa's parent company, Coca-Cola, reported a 3% volume decline in its coffee segment in 2024, with Costa's UK performance specifically cited as dragging down overall results. The company is struggling badly in its home market. Customer satisfaction scores are dropping. Foot traffic is declining. People are choosing competitors or making coffee at home instead of paying Costa's inflated prices. There are even persistent rumors in the industry that Coca-Cola is considering selling Costa for around £2 billion. That's significant because Coca-Cola paid nearly £5 billion to acquire Costa in 2019. If they're willing to sell at less than half what they paid just 5 years ago, that tells you everything you need to know about how poorly the brand is performing and how little confidence the parent company has in its future. For seniors who value consistency and reliability, this should genuinely concern you. A company in financial distress is not a company you can trust to maintain standards. They're focused on survival, not on giving you the best product or experience. When profits are squeezed, quality suffers. That's not speculation. That's basic business reality. Number 5. You're being manipulated by loyalty schemes. Costa's loyalty program seems generous on the surface. Buy 8 drinks, get 1 free. Collect beans with every purchase that you can redeem for rewards. It looks like they're rewarding your loyalty and helping you save money. But the mathematics tell a different story. To earn 1 free medium latte worth £3.60, you need to spend £28.80 on 8 drinks. That's a 12.5% discount, which sounds okay until you realize that shopping at literally any other coffee chain or making your own coffee at home would save you far more than 12.5%. Greg's would save you nearly 50%. Making coffee at home saves you 90%. The Costa loyalty discount is pathetic in comparison. The loyalty program isn't designed to save you money. It's designed to trap you into a pattern of repeat purchases that you wouldn't otherwise make. Once you've bought 5 or 6 drinks and you're halfway to your free one, you feel psychologically committed. You've invested in the system. Abandoning it now feels like wasting the progress you've made, even though that progress is costing you real money. Number 4. The environmental cost is massive and they don't care. Costa serves an estimated 300 million drinks per year in the UK alone. The vast majority of those drinks are served in disposable cups. That's 300 million disposable cups going into the waste stream every single year, just from one coffee chain in one country. Those cups are marketed as recyclable, and there are recycling symbols on them. But here's the dirty secret. They're not actually recyclable in most UK waste systems. The cups have a plastic polyethylene lining that makes them waterproof, but also makes them nearly impossible to recycle. Standard recycling facilities can't separate the plastic from the paper, so the cups get sorted out and sent to landfills, even if you carefully put them in recycling bins. You think you're being responsible by recycling your Costa cup, but you're not. It's going to a landfill where it'll sit for decades, maybe centuries, slowly breaking down into microplastics that contaminate soil and water. Costa claims they're working on sustainability initiatives. They talk about their commitment to reducing environmental impact. They mention pilot programs and research into better materials, but their actions don't match their words. If they truly cared about the environment, if sustainability was actually a priority rather than a marketing talking point, they'd do what some independent coffee shops have done: charge a significant deposit on disposable cups, maybe £1 or more, or only serve drinks in reusable cups that customers bring themselves or borrow from the shop and return. But they don't do that because it would hurt sales. Convenience drives customer behavior, and customers are more likely to buy coffee if they don't have to think about bringing a cup or returning one. So Costa prioritizes profit over planetary health, and you're complicit in that destruction every time you accept a disposable cup. And here's the kicker that makes it even worse. Costa charges you less if you bring your own cup, but only by 25 pence. That's an insult. The actual cost savings to them of not providing a disposable cup is far higher than 25 pence. When you factor in the cup cost, the lid cost, the sleeve cost, the disposal cost, and the environmental compliance costs. But they only pass a tiny fraction of those savings to you because they know most people won't bother bringing their own cup for such a small discount. It's not enough incentive to change behavior, and that's intentional. Number 3. A customer died from an allergic reaction they were assured was safe. In 2021, a young customer with a severe dairy allergy died after drinking a Costa soy milk hot chocolate that was mistakenly made with cow's milk. The customer specifically told staff about the allergy, emphasized how serious it was, asked for soy milk, and was assured the drink was safe. It wasn't. The customer died. This isn't just a tragic accident. This is a catastrophic systemic failure in training, communication, and quality control that directly caused someone's death. A preventable death. A death that happened because Costa's systems weren't good enough and their staff weren't trained well enough. An investigation by the inquest found that Costa's allergen procedures were inadequate. Staff weren't properly trained to handle allergen requests with the seriousness they require. There was confusion about which milk had been used. Communication between staff members was poor. The processes in place to prevent cross-contamination weren't followed. The coroner concluded that there were failures on multiple levels that contributed to the death, and that better training and clearer procedures could have prevented it. Costa made changes after the incident, but the question remains: why weren't those procedures in place before someone died? Why did it take a death for them to take allergen safety seriously? For seniors with food allergies or sensitivities, this is absolutely terrifying. Many older adults develop new allergies or intolerances as they age. Maybe you're newly lactose intolerant. Maybe you've developed a nut allergy. Maybe you have celiac disease. You're trusting that when you tell Costa staff about your dietary needs, they'll take it seriously and ensure your drink is safe to consume. But Costa's track record shows they can't reliably be trusted with that responsibility. One untrained barista, one moment of carelessness, one communication breakdown between the person taking your order and the person making it, and you could end up seriously ill or, in the worst case, dead. The company faced prosecution and was found guilty of food safety failures. They were fined, but no amount of money brings back a life lost due to negligence. And more importantly for you as a customer, how confident can you be that they've actually fixed the problems comprehensively across all their locations? Number 2. The caffeine levels are inconsistent and often excessive for seniors. A medium Costa latte contains approximately 221 milligrams of caffeine. To put that in perspective, that's more than 2 cans of Red Bull, each of which contains around 80 milligrams. For comparison, a medium latte from Starbucks has about 150 milligrams, and a medium latte from Caffè Nero has around 170 milligrams. Costa's drinks are significantly more caffeinated than their main competitors. But here's the bigger problem. Caffeine content varies wildly depending on which Costa location you go to, who makes your drink, what time of day you order, and how they make it. There's no real consistency or standardization, which means you never really know how much caffeine you're consuming. One day, your latte might have 180 milligrams. The next day, from a different location or a different barista, it might have 260 milligrams. That's a massive swing that affects how you feel and how your body responds. For seniors, this inconsistency and these high doses are genuinely dangerous. Caffeine affects older adults very differently from younger people. Your body metabolizes caffeine more slowly as you age because your liver function decreases. Caffeine stays in your system longer. A dose that a 30-year-old processes in 4 hours might stay in your system for 6 or 7 hours. That means the effects are more pronounced and longer lasting. Caffeine can interfere with medications you're taking. It interacts badly with common drugs prescribed to seniors, certain antibiotics, antidepressants, blood thinners, blood pressure medications, and osteoporosis drugs. Those interactions can reduce the effectiveness of your medications or cause dangerous side effects. It can cause jitteriness, anxiety, and panic attacks, especially if you're prone to anxiety. It can cause rapid heartbeat and heart palpitations, which are frightening and potentially dangerous if you have existing heart conditions. It significantly interferes with sleep quality, and seniors already struggle more with sleep than younger people. Poor sleep accelerates cognitive decline and worsens almost every health condition. And you might not even realize your health problems are related to caffeine because everyone tells you a little coffee is fine, that it might even be good for you. But the doses Costa is serving aren't small. They're massive, and they're affecting your health in ways you're not connecting because the effects are subtle and cumulative rather than immediately obvious. Number 1. You can make better coffee at home for 1/10 of the price. This is the big one that ties everything together and makes all the other points matter even more. You're paying £3.60 for a medium latte you could make at home for roughly 35 pence. Let me break down the mathematics so you can see exactly how much money you're wasting. A 250-gram bag of decent quality coffee beans or ground coffee costs around £6 at the supermarket. You can get good brands like Lavazza, Illy, or Taylor's of Harrogate for that price. That bag makes approximately 30 cups of coffee, depending on how strong you like it. You're paying £3.60 at Costa. That's over 10 times more expensive. If you have one Costa latte per day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 250 lattes annually. At £3.60 each, you're spending £900 per year. Making that same latte at home costs £87.50 per year. You're wasting £812.50. If you have one every single day, including weekends, that's 365 lattes. At Costa, £1,314 per year. At home, £127.75. You're wasting £1,186.25. For seniors on fixed incomes, that's a lot of money. And the coffee you make at home can genuinely be better than Costa if you take even minimal care with it. Buy decent quality beans, use fresh milk, learn the very basic skill of how to steam milk properly if you want a latte, or just use a cheap milk frother that costs £15 and lasts for years. Take 30 seconds to do it properly instead of rushing. You'll have a latte that tastes as good or better than anything Costa serves, and you'll have saved over £1,000 in the process. I know exactly what you're thinking right now, but I don't have time in the morning. I'm not good at making coffee. I don't want to clean up the mess. I like the convenience of just buying it. I enjoy the ritual of going to Costa. Here's the truth that you need to hear. Making a latte at home takes 5 minutes once you've done it a few times and gotten comfortable with the process. Costa often has queues during busy times that take longer than 5 minutes. You're not actually saving time. You're spending time differently, and you're paying an enormous premium for that difference. The convenience argument doesn't hold up under scrutiny. Is walking to Costa, waiting in line, placing your order, waiting for your drink, and walking back really more convenient than spending 5 minutes in your own kitchen before you leave home? For most people, if they're completely honest with themselves, the answer is no. And the ritual, the enjoyment, the treat of buying coffee, you can create the same ritual at home. Make it part of your morning routine. Use a nice mug, sit down and enjoy it instead of rushing. The enjoyment comes from the caffeine, the warmth, the flavor, the moment of pause in your day. None of that requires Costa. You're just conditioned to associate those feelings with the Costa experience because that's what you've been doing. The coffee shop habit is exactly that, a habit. It's not actually providing value proportional to what you're paying. You're buying convenience that isn't really convenient, an atmosphere that you could create at home, and the feeling of treating yourself. But you're paying an absolutely enormous premium for those intangible feelings. And Costa is counting on you not doing this math. They're counting on you not sitting down and calculating exactly how much you're spending annually on their coffee. They're counting on you not realizing how easy and cheap it is to make the same drink at home. They're counting on your habit being stronger than your rational decision-making, on your routine being more powerful than your desire to save money. Don't let them win. Your money is too important, especially if you're retired and living on a fixed pension that doesn't increase nearly as fast as Costa increases their prices. Every pound you waste at Costa is a pound you can't spend on something that actually matters, on something that improves your life, rather than just briefly satisfying a caffeine craving. If this video made you think twice about your Costa habit, share it with friends. Drop a comment about how much you spend on coffee, and hit subscribe for more videos about protecting your money and health.